Are you ready to ace your next teaching interview and land your dream job in 2024? In today's competitive landscape, it's about what you know, but it's also importantly about how you present it. So whether you're a seasoned veteran, a mid-career professional who wants to make a change and get into education, or you are a brand new college graduate, today's episode, we're going to give you 3 tips that you should be thinking about in the context of 2024 to make you competitive and give you a leg up in the interview room. So grab a pen, a piece of paper, and get ready to take some notes because we're going to start right now. Hey everyone, Gordon Amerson here, Superintendent of Schools and Gallup Certified Strengths Coach. And on this channel, we'll help leverage my experience from classroom teacher to school district superintendent to help you go further, faster in your educational journey. If this is your first time with us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification so you don't miss any cool updates or any of our newest and latest episodes. All right, everybody, welcome in. At the time of this recording, it is early summer 2024, and we're kind of at that peak hiring moment where lots of positions are being filled, lots of opportunities, lots of brand new opportunities are out there on the horizon. So I wanted to give you some things to think about, specifically three strategies that I want you thinking about when you go into your next teacher interview. When you're going in to sit with the principal, you're going in to talk with the principal, or you're going in to talk to an interview panel. Like, what are the things that are most important right now? And it's just one person's perspective, just one person in one particular school district's perspective. But these are things that are front and center for me. And these are the types of things that I want our folks looking for. These are the types of things I want our hiring professionals, our principals who are out there looking for talent. These types of thoughts, these types of frameworks, these types of mindsets. So let's jump right in with strategy number 1. All right, strategy number 1. You want to be able to demonstrate your cultural competence and your inclusivity. In our ever increasing diverse world, it's going to be really, really important to create this opportunity to honor and to recognize and to, quite frankly, include these diverse backgrounds, perspectives, cultural norms, cultural histories, but bringing that in to the interview room and showing your commitment to that, showing your sensitivity to that, and showing your empathy for the ability to connect with as many people as possible to create this rich dynamic within your classroom is exactly the type of educators and the types of teachers that I would be looking for. And then I know that many superintendents and many principals are also looking for. And so you want to talk about your ability to be culturally responsive in your teaching. When you look out in your classroom and you see diverse faces, diverse backgrounds, how do you account for that? How do you bring those into the room? How do you bring those into your lessons and into your instruction to honor and value and give them a space to help them feel engaged and connected? We want to create that warm and nurturing environment for our students. And one of the ways to do that is to be really culturally relevant in what we choose to teach, what we choose to share. We also want to be thinking about equity and access, right? Every student has different needs. And we are moving into a world, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the concept of AI and digital literacy. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in this episode. But in a moment when we have ever increasing technology, using that technology to leverage and create more equity and more access is absolutely paramount to your ability to demonstrate your capacity as a teacher candidate as well. So be thinking about how you show and showcase your ability to create equitable and accessible environments as well. And then lastly, your commitment to professional development, growing your skills, growing your knowledge, growing your capacity, again, around these topics of cultural competence and inclusivity with a focus on culturally responsive teaching and a focus on equity and access, wanting to go out and grow your skills, grow your knowledge, get more resources, more assets, more knowledge, more tools to be able to create that warm, rich, and nurturing environment for your scholars, for your students in your classroom. That's critically important. So the very first thing you want to be thinking about in the context of 2024 is How do I demonstrate my cultural competence and my commitment to inclusivity? That's strategy number one. All right, let's move into strategy number two that you should be thinking about in 2024 as you go into your next teacher interview. And that is, how do you demonstrate and promote social emotional learning as well as well-being into your classroom and into your professional practice? Now, how we do that in 2024 is critically important. We're still kind of coming out of this post-pandemic reality, this post-pandemic world, and our students have a lot of diverse needs. There's a lot of challenges and a lot of issues that existed before the pandemic, but also have been amplified after the pandemic. And so we want to think about, how do we meet the needs of our students? How do we meet their social, emotional, developmental needs? How do we create these environments where they can feel that they're in a safe, nurturing space and environment? So how do we integrate those social, emotional learning lessons? How do we build an environment in a classroom that is collaborative, that is nurturing? How do we intentionally create time and space for students to share what's going on in their world, what's going on in their life? It is important. And let's talk about some very specific, concrete ways of doing this. It's important to hit the cores, your social studies, your sciences, your mathematics, your English, your core elective courses if you're in a secondary environment, or those core academic areas if you're in an elementary or primary environment. But students can't access those high levels of rigorous curriculum if their social emotional needs are not being met. So how do you use an activity like at the beginning of your classroom, like check in, check out? So when students check into your classroom, how are you seeing how they're doing? What type of activity do you right at the outset where students are given the opportunity to share what's going on, share how they're feeling? You know, it could be something as simple as in a primary environment where you use a chart with a series of faces based on happy to sad, how a student might be feeling. Just simply asking that check-in question about how you're feeling coming into the classroom tells the student that you care about them as an individual. And then do the same thing on the checkout. And hopefully you've moved them on that continuum. You've changed their perspective. You've improved their mood, their environment, how they're feeling that day. So finding ways to do check-in, check-outs, finding ways to give lots of authentic interactions and conversations when you're in an environment where students are older, giving them an opportunity to share, to talk about how things are going, giving them an opportunity to write, to journal, to put things down on paper, to be able to sit and reflect. These are great ways to create an environment that is rich in social emotional learning and development, but also focusing on students' well-being. Another great strategy in this that you could talk all about in an interview is the concept of taking time to connect with students and using things like mindfulness or meditation. And you can do these in small, short spurts. We're not telling you to do a 1 hour long meditation, but you can take 2, 3, 5 minutes to take students through a brain break, the opportunity to just be present, to just do some deep breathing, to just do some mindfulness connection. And then that gives students a little bit of space to just connect, and then just to think about where they are in this world at that moment, and then to re-engage with the curriculum. These are the types of things that I really want our teachers and our teacher candidates to be talking about, to be sharing with us. Your commitments to this type of work. I feel very strongly that candidates who come in with the academic background, with the years of experience, I believe at my core that you're walking into the room with the ability to teach English, math, social studies, science, et cetera, et cetera. The next level of this is the connecting to human beings, the connecting to our kids, the connecting to your colleagues, because we've got to create a more welcoming, a more nurturing, and a more inclusive world for people. And if we can do it one classroom at a time, if every classroom is doing it, and then every department is doing it, and then every grade level is doing it, and then every school site is doing it, we're building a better world from the ground up. So before I get too far into my own philosophical soapbox, thinking about how you create an environment that honors and respects the social emotional learning and well-being of your students, and then incorporating that into the interview is like a next level piece. It's that next level that principals are going to be looking for, to say, these are the type of people that I want on our campus, that want to educate the whole child, every component of the kid who walks into the classroom. That's what we're looking for. So in 2024, again, in this context of where we are right now today, creating a more nurturing, a more caring, a more inclusive world, focus on, in your interview, bringing to the forefront your ability, your experience, and your commitment to social emotional learning, as well as well-being for your students and for yourself. And that's strategy number 2. Okay, so before we move to strategy number 3, share with us in the comments below, what's been your experience with bringing students forward with ideas of mindfulness, ideas of social emotional learning? How are you creating that warm and caring and nurturing environment? What experience do you have? What have you done? Or what are your ideas? What would you want to do if given the opportunity, if given your classroom, given the opportunity to bring those types of things in? What would you do? Share that with us in the comments below. And let's move to strategy number 3. All right, let's talk about strategy number 3. And strategy number 3 is all about emphasizing technology integration and also digital literacy. We are in an ever increasing, ever advancing, disruptive technology-based world. Whether it be blockchain, whether it be AI, whether it be Web3, all of these disruptive technologies are becoming more and more a part of the world that we're moving into. And I think sometimes as educators, we react after the fact. And I would love for us as educators who are teaching the future computer scientists, the future technology disruptors, I would like for us to think more progressively, more proactively around these particular topics. And so how do you incorporate that and bring that into your own interview process? I think you start to showcase your commitment to understanding that these technologies are here to stay. As a classroom teacher, and as somebody who is going to be sitting and talking with principals about how do we engage our students on these technological fronts, you're going to want to be able to showcase your skills, your knowledge, even if you don't have it yet, because not everybody's comfortable with where technology is going, and specifically AI. AI has been a big component. But if you don't know about ChatGPT, if you don't know about Bard, if you don't know about Perplexity, if you don't know about Copilot, these are big AI platforms, big large language learning models that you can and should absolutely spend time learning, spend time growing your skills, your knowledge, and your ability to interact and to integrate these into your classroom. Because one of the major components of this, as these technologies crash directly in to education, is we're going to be also the stewards, the custodians, if you will, of protecting our students, of educating our students around digital literacy. What is and is not real? How do you check and verify your resources? How do you check and verify what is being shared? How do you build these technology pieces into the classroom and have them not be seen as an afterthought, but instead seen as an essential tool for the learning and growing process? You being able to demonstrate and put that into your teacher interview is going to be critically important. And I think in a lot of ways, it will separate you from other candidates. There are a lot of folks in the education space right now that are wanting to push back and refuse to accept the impact of what AI is going to have on education. I personally think that that is a mistake, because I think that we're going to look up 5, 10 years from now, and it is going to be seamlessly integrated into all the things that we do. I share this in another video that in some cases, we pushed back for a long time on certain things that are now just normal to us. For instance, the use of a calculator. My son and daughter came to me and said, "Dad, for high school, I have to have a TI-85 or TI-83 Texas Instrument scientific calculator," which, when I was in school, if you used a calculator, you were cheating. But now it's a requirement to have not only a calculator, but a scientific graphing calculator. The world is just changing. So calculators were cheating until they weren't. They were cheating until they became essential to increase the rigor, increase the relevance, and increase the expectations for what our students could perform and produce academically. And I think we're in the same place. We were in the same place with the internet. And now the internet is essential. The internet is so critically important to everything that we do. And I think that AI, which is an extension of the internet, will be the same thing. And so that's a long way around of saying, how do we leverage these technologies to integrate them into our professional practice? How will you talk about the things that you believe around integrating technology? And whether it be AI, whether it be software, whether it be certain types of applications, anything and all of those things will be a part of how you demonstrate your value and what value you want to add bringing into the organization. And then how we're going to also teach that digital literacy piece. Because if we wrap all this back up together, strategy 1 around cultural competence and inclusivity, strategy 2 all around social emotional learning and well-being, and then we layer in this digital technology and also digital literacy piece, they're all intimately woven together, all at the end of the day, to take care of, care, develop, nurture, support, and grow all of our students. And that digital literacy piece is going to be critically important. So the more we educate ourselves, the better off we're going to be. So in your interview, thinking about how you capitalize on sharing your thoughts, your perspective, and your knowledge around these pieces are going to be critically important to connect with the principal and the interview panel. As you think about, how do I delve into this AI piece? I'm not as familiar with it. Well, that's okay. That's okay. Because in this last video I shared, these are the types of things that I'm asking principals to think about when they're considering AI as school leaders. So check out that video, because that video is going to give you some insights and some thoughts. And don't forget to smash the like button if you got value out of the video today. Check out the resources below for information on coaching and mentoring and all that kind of good stuff. And we're going to see you on the next one. Thanks so much, everyone. And we'll talk to you very, very soon. Check out this next video on AI and what principals are thinking. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.